Finally, the Arch has come back to podcast land. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for another edition of If You Smell What the Arch is Cooking. I'm your host, Archie Mitchell, and tonight we are back with another show filled with some quick hits, some highlight reels, some low light reels, and we're going to even get into some WrestleMania predictions. Now, I want to get into something real quick, though, before we start anywhere. I want to say thank you to everyone who has been supporting If You Smell What the Arch is Cooking and every show on WrestleNet Radio, including the We Can't Wrestle podcast and the Nothing But Trouble podcast. Now, this week on the Nothing But Trouble podcast, as it did drop this Friday evening, is a WrestleMania prediction show. So my predictions will be on there as well as here. Uh, and you're going to get your predictions here from me tonight on If You Smell What the Arch is Cooking. But this coming Monday, I will be recording a joint show with Nate Maxon of Slice of Time and the We Can't Wrestle podcast and Reliving the Extreme as well. Nate's on all the shows. Nate and I will be doing a joint show for both If You Smell What the Arch is Cooking and the We Can't Wrestle podcast, talking about what we thought about WrestleMania 39 this year and everything that went on between night one and night two. And I'll also give you maybe a highlight reel for NXT Stand and Deliver. So, basically, what you're getting here, normal quick hits as usual. And then we're going to talk about the highlight reel for Raw, NXT, and for SmackDown. Actually, not for SmackDown, excuse me. I forgot about that. SmackDown is running preempted tonight in my area when I'm recording it. So I apologize, but we will have SmackDown next week. But we'll be talking about the highlight reel for both Raw and NXT. We'll have the low light reel for both Raw and NXT as well. Then we'll get into the WrestleMania card. So that's what's going on. You can also hear me talking about WrestleMania on the Nothing But Trouble podcast if you don't want to just listen to this one. And you can join me and Nate later on this week when we talk about what happened at WrestleMania as a whole, night one and night two, on that joint show that we'll be doing later on. So let's go ahead. Let's not waste any more time. Crack open your favorite frosty beverage, strap on in, buckle up, and get ready to go on this ride with me as I spew my venom, my hate, and my love for the world of professional wrestling. And we're going to start off with the quick hits. Rumors are swirling that Triple H gave the green light for a new world heavyweight title design. That to me is impressive if that's the truth, and that could mean a new world heavyweight champion coming up or a new championship being designed. It could go either way. I'll get into the predictions of Roman versus Cody later on. It can go either way, but I'm going to throw you guys for a little bit of a loophole as well. But I think the idea of a new world title design would be great. I think that we need to get away from that, big block W now that we've had for some time. The Rock debuting it, the scratch logo, and then going to the bigger block version. Now it's pretty much every title. So, I'm all for a new title design. Number two, Daniel Bryan turns heel on AEW Dynamite and joins the Blackpool Combat Club again in attacking Kenny Omega. So now the entire group are heels. They've attacked the Young Bucks. They've attacked Hangman Adam Page. They've attacked Don Callis, and he got busted open. And they attacked Kenny Omega. And anybody might be asking yourself, well, why do you don't care about Don Callis? Well, I'm not a big Don Callis fan, but I think Don is going to turn on Kenny and join the BCC and make it the Blackpool Combat Club. They'll maybe add another couple members, and then they'll go up against the Elite, which will be Kenny, Hangman Adam Page, and the Young Bucks. And if the Combat Club gets up to 5, well, then Adam Cole just made his return. Congratulations, also, Adam Cole is back, baby. Great to see him back. He was in great, spirits and great form on AEW Dynamite. So, but Bryan Danielson is now a heel. I like heeled up Bryan Danielson. I think he's better. He's more pure. He doesn't have to play to the crowd. You know what I mean? I wouldn't let him cut that many promos. Maybe that's why they need Don Callis. Because I'll be honest, I don't want any of these guys really cutting promos. Because a promo could really switch by however you deliver the way you're saying those words. Remember Roman Reigns, suffer and succotash. It could really kill a person if their delivery is not on that night. So, and finally, number 3 on the quick hits, ladies and gentlemen, there is a God Logan Paul says his contract is done with the WWE at WrestleMania. If this is true and he is not re-signed, thank you, Jesus. I do not want to see this man in my WWE rings anymore. I said mine. I've been watching the product since WrestleMania 6. That's right. WrestleMania 39 is my 33rd anniversary as a wrestling fan. I don't want to see Logan Paul in that ring anymore. I don't give a shit how athletic he is. I don't care what he can do. He is annoying as fuck. I want him gone. All right? So I won't go any further into it, but I will say I'm happy if that's the truth. Logan Paul is done. Thank God. Moving on now to the highlight reel. Not much to report in regards to the highlight reel for go home shows for both Raw and NXT. But over on Raw, number one is Walter. I will not call him anything else. Taking on Dolph Ziggler in a tune-up match for the triple threat match against Sheamus and Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania. Walter was in incredible form. Again, those chops are devastating. He's gotten into tremendous shape, and I cannot wait to see more from him. This match with Dolph, who sold for him in every way, shape, or form, it was great. So, congratulations to Walter on getting a win going into WrestleMania. I hope that he retains the title, but I'll get into that more during the predictions. Number two, Cody Rhodes taking on Solo Sikoa in the main event. I hated that they ended Solo's undefeated streak, but I have to say I think he and Cody put on a damn fine match. Cody Rhodes is proving he'll go up against any challenge. It doesn't matter. He's got the Usos detained with Owens and Zayn. He just beat Solo, so that just leaves Roman Reigns and the Wise Man, and I'm really wondering how it's going to go. But like I said, I'll throw you guys for a loop in just a bit. And then over on NXT, the 20-man Battle Royal for the final spot in the North American title Fatal 5-Way at Stand and Deliver. I'm okay with Axiom winning, but there were so many guys in that ring that I think deserve a shot that didn't get it. But it was a lot of great action, a lot of great back and forth. Seeing Dabba-Kato get eliminated by a bunch of guys was that nice throwback nostalgia feel. Apollo Crews was throwing everybody out however he could, and then he himself got eliminated. It was some good fun. Number two, Tyler Bate and Von Wagner put on a classic. Both guys definitely hit hard, and it was great to see them get put up on NXT because Tyler was going for a little while, and Von has kind of lost his way. So I think they've done a great job in bringing these two back to television, and I think Tyler Bate is on a roll as it pertains to winning. And number three, the Schisms promo on Chase U. It was eerie. It was scary. It had a lot of crypticness in it. And I think that's the way they wanted Bray Wyatt to be. But I think that the Schism is playing this part to the T. I like Ava Raine, The Rock's daughter. I like the dyad. And Joe Gacy has slowly become a great character in his own right. So I've enjoyed everything the Schism has done. And I honestly think that Duke Hudson is going to turn on Chase U, join the Schism, and the Schism is going to take over Chase U at NXT Stand and Deliver. Although I don't know what that means, but it should still make for a hell of a match and a great storyline moving forward. On to the low light reel, and we've got two. One from Monday Night Raw, Miss TV with Becky, Lita, Trish, and Damage Control. I'm sorry, this fell flat. Lita and Trish and Becky in the ring beforehand, telling the Miz off and throwing their little jokes, seemed like three moms hanging out, having a wine party. It wasn't fun to watch. I got to be honest with you. And then Damage Control came out. We got the same Bailey promo of I came up with Becky and I idolized Lita and I idolized Trish and this should be a dream match, but I just want to destroy you. We get it. We understand. You've been saying it since you put Damage Control together. It's a little played out, but that was one of the lowlights of Monday Night Raw. And then over on NXT, Pretty Deadly's promos throughout the show promoting the matches. Goddamn, those guys are annoying as fuck. If they could put those two guys, Grayson Waller and Logan Paul, on an island somewhere, and I didn't have to hear the sound of their voices, I'd be very happy. But yeah, them promoting the show. I know they're the host for Stand and Deliver, but I'm just getting really annoyed by them, and I don't want to see it anymore. So that was definitely a low light from NXT Stand and Deliver. Now, as I said, Over on the Nothing But Trouble podcast, we've got a WrestleMania prediction show. So go ahead and take a look at it. It dropped this past Friday night. So I suggest that you go and take a look at it. Um, but now it's time for my predictions all alone, naturally, here on the If You Smell What the Arch Is Cooking podcast. Starting off with the women's showcase match, which is a fatal four-way between four women's tag teams, Liv Morgan and Raquel Gonzalez. Um, Chelsea Green, Sonya Deville, Ronda Rousey, and Shayna Baszler, and then Natalia and Shotzi Blackheart. Those are three makeshift teams and one team of two really bad UFC fighters who came to the WWE. When I say really bad UFC fighters, I don't mean in the UFC, but Ronda and Baszler were great in their mixed martial arts matches. Their both haven't been that great in the WWE. I'm picking though Ronda and Baszler to win because they're the only real tag team there. It just doesn't make sense, this whole makeshift thing that they've done with all these tag teams. If you don't have women's tag teams, get rid of the women's tag team titles. It's that simple, you know. Uh, Number two, Walter, Sheamus, and Drew McIntyre for the Intercontinental title. That should definitely be a banger, pun intended. Um, Drew and Sheamus have once again turned on each other, leaving them to kind of, battle back and forth. Walter's caught in the middle, and they're going after his Intercontinental title. And I think this should be a great match. It might even be a show stealer. I hope that Walter, Gunther, I won't call him anything else, though he's Walter to me, is going to remain the Intercontinental title. Drew McIntyre doesn't need a title right now. I know they want Sheamus to finally become Intercontinental champion, but he's still got a little bit of time left on his career. I think you need to leave the belt on Walter. Number three, Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio. The less said about this, the better. I hate this storyline. I've hated the Mysterio since they've been on TV. I'm going to go with Rey here. We then go to Seth Rollins versus Logan Paul. Again, the less said about this, it's a match I don't really care about except for Seth Rollins and seeing his entrance to WrestleMania. I'm going with Seth Rollins here to beat Logan Paul and cast him out of the WWE. Uh, Six-way Divas tag match between Lita, Trish, Becky, taking on Damage Control. I'm going with Damage Control. Reason being, I don't think that part-timers should come back and take the spotlight completely. Yes, Lita came back and won the women's tag titles. I hope they get those belts off for her soon. Her and Becky, it just doesn't make any sense. You're back part-time. You can't really wrestle constantly. I'm going to talk about that a lot in this episode. I just don't think that Lita, Trish, and Becky need to win. I think Damage Control do because they pretty much lost throughout this entire feud. Edge versus Finn Balor. The Demon Balor is back, taking on the devil that is known as Edge. It's going to be in a Hell in a Cell match. I would like to see Judgment Day get involved if their matches are on before Edge and Balor, or at least Damian Priest get involved because he doesn't even have a match for WrestleMania. And there's been rumors that Gangrel is going to come out with Edge. I'd like to see Gangrel turn on Edge and maybe do a bloodbath in the Hell in a Cell, covering Edge in blood. Have Balor beat him, and Judgment Day get the win. Balor gets the win, and they move on from this Edge storyline that's been feels like it's been going on for well over a year. Then we've got Charlotte versus Rhea Ripley. I think that has potential to be another show stealer. I love both women. I think they're both fantastic. I like how Charlotte has come back as this tweener, and she's got more bravado, though, in her promos, and it looks like she could switch back to being a heel at any point. I'd like a double turn Rhea face, turn Charlotte heel, let Rhea become the women's champion. I think she deserves it. She needs a run with that title. Austin Theory versus John Cena. Again, I don't think that Cena needs to win here. He's not going to be around to defend the United States Championship. So unless he's planning on walking out on Monday Night Raw and just handing over the title and saying, yeah, I relinquished the belt. I just wanted to beat Austin Theory. I don't see Cena winning. I don't see Austin Theory winning clean, though. I see Austin Theory winning by DQ. And it should be a good match, almost like an old guard facing the new. In that Austin Theory is a lot like Cena was during his prototype days and his early days in WWE. The men's showcase match, I believe, will be won by the Viking Raiders. They're one of only two tag teams that aren't makeshift again because it looks like they're trying to break up Alpha Academy. Braun and Ricochet, I don't think will be together long. And the Street Profits, although they deserve a win, I think that they don't deserve another shot at tag titles right now as long as the Usos are champions. So, yeah, I'm going with the Viking Raiders. Number 10, the Usos taking on Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. I think Owens and Zayn deserve the title win here. I think they deserve to walk out of WrestleMania with the gold. I think it'll cause some strife in the bloodline, and it'll allow us to finally get that happy ending for Owens and Zayn. I talked about this on the Nothing But Trouble podcast. I'll touch about it on it here as well. Um, the last few years of WrestleMania, the bad guys have walked out with championships. I perceive that this year is going to have that happy ending, being that we're in Hollywood, and we're going to see a lot of faces walk out with the gold or win by DQ or whatnot, or just to give that feel good moment. So I'm going with Owens and Zayn, though. The only reason I see the Usos keeping the belts is if the bloodline remains in control, and I really don't see that happening completely after WrestleMania. With the Lesnar and Almost Moss match, I really don't care that much about it. But again, I've heard that Lesnar is saying he's finishing up with WWE for this go around. I don't know if he'll be back. I think that he deserves to give Omos the rub, and I see Omos going over. Asuka versus Bianca Belair. This match didn't need to happen. I think somebody else could have actually challenged for the belt besides Asuka, but I see Bianca going over, even though I'm done with the Bianca as women's champion on Monday Night Raw. I just think that she could lose it to somebody better besides Asuka with a change of face paint. And finally, the main event, Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes for the World Heavyweight title, the Undisputed Heavyweight title. Although I will say that that has not been exactly talked about yet. See, this is what I was saying, that curveball that might get thrown. Do I see Cody Rhodes winning? Yes. Do I see Cody Rhodes walking out of WrestleMania with the with the gold? Yes. What I see is Cody Rhodes, after a crazy 40-minute match with Roman Reigns, finally getting the win, possibly with a little distraction from Owens and Zayn. The Usos maybe pop out in solo. Guys come out to help Cody. Cody hits the crossroads, finally gets the win. Cody ends WrestleMania with the ticker tape parade, the fireworks going off, holding both belts above his head. Cody Rhodes is the winner and the World Heavyweight Champion. The next night on Monday Night Raw, out comes Paul Heyman with a contract in hand. And Paul Heyman, the wise man, states that Cody Rhodes won the Royal Rumble, and the Royal Rumble winner has the right to challenge for either the World Heavyweight title or the Universal Heavyweight title, but not both. So Cody Rhodes won the World Heavyweight title at WrestleMania, but Roman Reigns is still the Universal Champion, which he has held for this 930 days so far. Therefore, Roman Reigns will once again get back the Universal title. No, chink in his armor. Loses the World Heavyweight title. He's no longer the Undisputed Champion. Cody stays on Raw. Roman finishes up until he hits the 1,000-day mark as the Universal Champion, longest modern champion in today's date. And yeah, Cody has finally got the title, and they can okay the new world title design for Cody. And we go on with two champions now, when then Roman loses it to whoever down the road. That's what I would like to see. That's what I'm predicting, and that's what I think we're going to see on the main event of WrestleMania Night 1. So, if you want to know who had the best predictions on the Nothing But Trouble podcast and who wins it, make sure you listen to that episode and then listen in the future when we find out who had the most predictions right on that show. And if you want to hear what I thought about WrestleMania and what Nate Maxson thought about WrestleMania, and maybe some of the other stars of the We Can't Wrestle podcast and WrestleNet Radio family, stay tuned and listen when Nate and I put together that show to talk about all things WrestleMania 39. That's going to do it. Sorry for the short episode, but that's going to do it for us here tonight on If You Smell What the Arch is Cooking. Again, I want to thank you guys for your support. I want to thank you guys for continuing to give your love and always giving us your comments, your feedback. I just asked 5 or 6 of our listeners to give us some write-in questions for the Nothing But Trouble podcast, and they did it within the matter of minutes. Thank you guys for continuing to support and be there for us. Have a great night, and I will see you next time on If You Smell what the Arch is